A warm Wednesday welcome. You're on ZMS, and this is Tour du It was Tour de Suisse, wasn't it? It's Tour de Alps. Sorry. So, welcome to ZMS and welcome to Tour de Alps. This is stage 7. I've been looking forward to this all week. I haven't been involved to date, so this is rather exciting. We're in the French-speaking Alps tonight, and it's going to be quite a tricky one. I mean, I'm told that this is the easiest stage they've had so far at 10 kilometres, 411 metres of climbing. But let's put that into perspective, and this will depend where you live. I would expect for where I live to do about 1% of the distance in climbing for an average ride, and anything less I would say is flat, and anything higher is beginning to get hilly. This is 4 times my average. I don't know what it is for you, and it will depend where you live. If you do live in the Swiss Alps, then this is probably quite tame. And if you've been doing this for stages 1 to 6, it's probably very tame in comparison to what you've done so far. Let's have a look what's happened so far. John Beams is the man to beat. I say that, so is Daniel Cadiz, because he's currently in the hot seat for today's stage. Remember that there's more than one running of this, and it is judged on time. So the time to beat tonight for John Beams and everybody else is Daniel Cadiz's 20:40, established earlier today. So that's 20 minutes and 40 seconds over 10 kilometres, 411 metres of climbing, which I think is more than respectable. As we look down the list, there's some great names in here, isn't there? Jonathan Stevens, Jojo Riznek, Wouter Klaes, Lee Marshall, Peter Brookwavel, Timo Achenbach, and Niels Sonnberg, Andy Gray, Barbara Herrera, Johan Suhard, Mike Weston, Simon Miller, my old mate from Southborough. And remember, if you've got nothing to do on Friday evenings, or even if you have, cancel it, because it's Friday Frenzy on Friday evenings with the Southborough District Wheelers race on RGT. So check that one out. Good luck, Simon. Remember the top 26. Well, yeah, I say remember. I'll explain this in a minute, but there's 26 left in it. Let's have a look at the route first. Now, look, we're going up a mountainside, and we're going down the valley. So there's a little dip down the valley, but we're going up towards the end. Now, this is Nax de Saint-Martin, and it's, as you can see, basically up, down, up. The first stage is more up than the second stage, so if you get sort of the halfway stage there, you have probably done the worst of it, but of course there is that climb to the finish. It's going to be quite grueling. We have a very respectable 59 riders online. This is excellent, and we see most of those names on the left there are names that you'll be familiar with, like Timo Achenbach, John Beams, and so on and so forth. A nice international field as well. 3 seconds to go. Start pedaling. Let's get going and let the race begin. Here we go as they zoom off, and we get the flyby. Most respectable. A nice red and white for Switzerland. Okay, so off they go. Already this is slightly strung out, and don't forget, you know, it's uphill from the get-go. 16.5%. Oh, and it's Kaspers Hedman, who's gone off at the front, another well-known RGT rider. I see Wouter Klaes back there in 6th. We'll see how this pans out. The Suhard, the Frenchman, in 2nd place, with Gavache in 3rd. Now, what are the distances here? Kaspers has already got 13 kilometres on Suhard, and over 40 on everybody else, right down to 5th or 10th place. You're now looking at 50 metres. So Kaspers has gone off very, very strongly here, and we'll have to see how much he can maintain that. Don't worry about the cobbles; they're not. You don't feel that on the bike. Now, if you look at the bottom screen, you will see the. I suppose this is. It shows you where the hills are. Red is uphill, blue is downhill, green is sort of fairly benign, and you'll see that the first half of the bottom of your screen is very, very red with one little green bit. So they're going to be climbing for, well, I suppose, about 2/5 of the race before they get any respite and go downhill. That's rather ignoring the little green patch in the beginning. You see the big white bulge, the light bulb at the front. That's the rider that the camera is on at any given stage, and the dots are the other individuals in the race. So having a look at this, we look at Gavache. He's now 30 metres behind Kaspers, but there's a little bunch there, there's a little group, John Beam, Suhard and Wouter Klaes, all in that little group. Not far behind, Marshall, Richard and Actually, I'm drinking Ricard at the moment, but I shouldn't probably say that when I'm commentating, should I? Without the H, of course. Pastis de Marseille. Stevens, Vitorino, Timo Achenbach, and Ruzinek making up the top 11. 115 metres back to Timo, and that's from Caspers, who's now out on his own. You can just see the field behind. Caspers chucking out 362 watts there, cadence of 93, heart rate 146, 21.8 on a 6.7% climb. I only wish I could pump out those statistics. I can't, and that is very, very impressive. Casper's a strong rider, of course. Gavash not giving up. John Beams sitting in his slipstream there. Very wily of John Beams, who's actually leading the series at the moment. Now, I was going to explain a little while ago that the top 26 are the ones to look for, and the point is here that to get into the final reckoning, you have to do every race, and there's only 26 who've done every race so far. As we look at John Beams, who's perhaps going to go past, and he's getting the benefit of the slipstream there. You can see just 280 watts outputs there, 160 heartbeat, although he's going on the front a little bit now. That's looking rather closer to Casper's, actually. I wonder if they're catching him. They could well be. So back, while we watch the chase, can Caspers get caught? It might not be to Casper's detriment if he does get caught, because a group of three might work better together than just being on your own, not least because of the watt saving in the draft. And this might be tactical. I mean, for example, you don't really want your arch rival to get the benefit of the draft, but of course, bear in mind, this isn't who wins this particular race. This race has been run several times today, and it's the fastest time that counts. Remember Daniel Cadiz on 20 minutes 40. See Richard there, Cedric Richard. Now he's not far behind Gavash and John Beams. So, as I say, it may or may not be tactical, because there is some benefit if you haven't got an immediate rival of sitting in a group, because this isn't about individual race, it's about the collective times, and you're not necessarily racing the people in this race. As I said, Daniel Cadiz has set the fastest time so far. He's the man in the hot seat with 20 minutes 40. So if nobody beats 20 minutes 40, Daniel gets the race. Look, this is a grueling 10% still. No, this is this is for the hard ones. Nice to see 3 Moon Riders jerseys in there. Wouter Clays, Ruzinek from Canada. Wouter Clays putting out 400 watts. This is 50. Mind you, look at the gradient, 15%, and they hardly got going. They've only done just over 1.5 kilometres. So this is see Wouter Clays in the little circle there. Looking like he's out of his saddle to me, but that doesn't look comfortable. He's back in the saddle now. Let's see. Go on, Wouter. Racing out of East Belgium, I believe, and yep, Elzit in Belgium, and doing very, very well for Moon Riders. That's the, if you look at those jerseys, those are the Moon Riders jerseys. You can see Wouter's got MR after his name in the little name tag above him, above his avatar. MR standing for Moon Riders, of course. Now, if you look in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see just how spread out this field is. Just look, that is one long line, and that's kind of what you'd expect on the hill, and it's still 14%. I'm glad I'm commentating and not racing as they go around this hairpin. That looks a very, very steep hairpin, and I don't suppose you get the choice to go around the outside, do you? This group seems to be closing up, though, into... certainly Gavash and Cedric Ricard quite a way ahead, but this little group here with Wouter Clays, Stana, Tjard, Ruzinek and Stevens, and not far behind Marshall, could collect into a little group here and probably help each other out. As I say, let's go back to the description as we look at John Stevens from Southern, who again is another Moon Rider. Put MR after his name. Moon Rider's putting out a strong field today. Well done, John. And we can see from the Little listing on the left hand side that John's currently in ninth, putting out 4.8 watts per kilogram at the moment. So it's hard work, and we're only 2.14 kilometres into the race. But remember, it's only 10 kilometres. I'll say that it's the climbing that will hurt you, and we'll have to see how this all pans out. I think this is going to be strung out, so the times are going to be critical. It's probably going to be more like a time trial than a bunch race, because even with the downhill, I'm not sure this will pull itself back together. We shall see. We shall see. So at the third or fourth attempt, I'll go back to the why 26 are important. There's only 26 that have done every race. Thank you, Keith Aitchison, for coming in. Go, Peter. By the way, nice and steady. You'll catch them. Good luck. Good luck. Anyway. Good luck to everybody. Yeah, nice and steady. Actually, I mean, there's the hare and tortoise story, isn't it? That some people do go racing up these climbs a bit too early. You can see the leaders about halfway up that first red strip at the bottom left-hand corner of the left-hand picture, and it's full screen now. If you look, that field is strung out. The leaders are about halfway up the climb, and or over halfway up the climb, and the people at the back, well, not even a quarter way up the climb, or maybe about a quarter way up the climb. Still in double figures gradient. Oh, it's just dropped under. It's about 9% now, slightly easing off. And that is of course for the leaders. Cedric Ricard as Court Caspers, and John Beams is up there as well. So Caspers' little breakaway hasn't materialised by the top of the climb, but don't worry too much about that. He might just think that was worth the effort, and he might have forced those other riders to burn a match or two to catch him. We'll find out later. Look at that scenery. Look at that cliff. That's amazing. I'm not sure if it looks like that in real life or not, but if it does, well done to RGT for replicating it. I suspect it's not quite the same. Anyway. So back to the point about the 26. There's 26 riders who completed all 6 stages. Any one of those can win the prize. Now you might wonder why you just have to be in the top 26 as we go around another one of those beautiful hairpins. The point is this: anybody who completes all 6 stages goes into a prize draw, and the winner will get £251. And I think there's some of the riders at the back that we have to give a big shout out to, who've really sort of hung in there, and I think Anne Wine, Stephen Elliott, and Linda also Alicia Ellis and Clive Bytham. There's probably a few more as well. They've been making sure they finish rather than trying to win the thing, and fair play and chapeau to those people, because if you can get to the end of this series, all 10 races, and you've as I say, if you completed all 10, you go into prize draw, and I believe you've got as much chance as anybody else as winning that £251, and probably pay for you to get all the salt cleaned off your floor of your house or wherever you cycle. Probably replace some of the rusty parts that have been affected by that rust, but a grand prize, and great, on a stage, on a platform like RGT, £251 prize is great, and I suspect RGT will only grow and get better. I personally believe it to be the best racing platform out there. Others may disagree, but certainly it's my vote. As we carry on, still in double-digit percentage, 11.7%. As we look at the back of the field, here we have Cruella. Now, Cruella is in fact Paul Nicholls from Sussex in southern England, on southern Great Britain, and it says Sussex. In fact, I was cycling myself down in Sussex on Sunday in very nice weather. I hope you were out there, Paul, as well. Paul is called Cruella because he's quite evil in these races, I'm told, nicknamed by Derek Pocock, I've been informed. James Ogilvie just in front of him with the Saltire, the Scottish flag. James, organiser of this race, of course, and the great man himself takes part, which I think is fantastic. Well done, James. You're doing some great work with OTR and everybody else on there. You can see the OTR kit there is that green, white and black, not to be confused with Moon Riders, because they've got a band across, whereas they've got nice crisp OTR down the back of James's team. So well done, James, the man himself, the man we all have to thank for this series, following a fellow Scot there in Shields just in front of him. So big weekend for the Scottish football team coming up, and a big win in the rugby over the weekend. So let's look for more Scottish success in this race, shall we, guys? You can see James in the little circle down the bottom there. There he is. Oh, apparently it's in Kent. He's obviously from Scotland beforehand, I would assume, with the Sultan there. Living in Kent, though, and as I say, the great man himself, organiser of all of this, and we have him to thank for it. If you're suffering at the moment, thank him afterwards, because you're probably wondering why you're struggling up the hill at the moment, as many of us do when we're climbing big mountains. I mean, I certainly sit there whenever I do a mountain. I sit there thinking I'll never do another one of these, and I get to the top and I suddenly get amnesia and decide that it was fantastic and I can't wait to do another one. And if you want to do another one, there's another one tomorrow night, and the night after, and the night after that. So 3 more of these Tour de Alps you can participate in, and if you want something slightly less uphill, don't forget after Friday's event on Tour de Alps, we've got the Friday Frenzy with Southwood District Wheelers, and if I may just give a plug for my own event tomorrow night, we've got the West London VR race at 7:30 UK time tomorrow evening, which compared to anything you're seeing here will be very, very flat. As we go through the red, I suspect that's the halfway stage, isn't it? That's I was going to say Flamme Rouge because it was red, but it's quite clearly the halfway stage. As Cedric and John Beams and Casper's heading them start descending. Casper's now 200 metres behind John and Cedric, so that's that. As I say, I think that lead he had probably was quite important, but it probably hasn't been enough to make sure he got to the top of the climb with the others. As we see Wouter Claes from Belgium going over the top, and he's going to start descending now. Straight away for Wouter here, we're looking at sort of 5, 6, 7% declines, and he's hitting over 60 kph on that decline, which is great. We see Wouter in the picture there, sitting in the saddle this time, just 183 or 160 watts pumping out as he makes the benefit of the downhill, along with Ruzinek there, the Canadian, also from Moon Riders, and they go through the halfway stage in red, presumably because it's Switzerland, and all these races, I believe, in Switzerland. We're in the French-speaking part at the moment. It is, of course, next to Saint-Martin, and just to remind you, they've done the biggest climb. This is Daniel Cadiz, we see here. Now, this is the man in the hot seat. He's not in this race, Daniel. You see his details on the bottom right. But if you read across the bottom, current fastest time, Daniel Cadiz, 20 minutes, 40 seconds. This is the time to beat. Now, we've just passed the halfway stage. And if you look at the top right-hand corner, you'll see that everybody's just over 15 minutes. And, all right, these are the 9th and 10th riders. But you can assume in about 15 minutes, we've just passed the halfway stage. So you might wonder, how can we do the rest in 5 minutes? Well, this may not be as difficult as you think, because if you look at the profile below you, nothing is quite as steep after this. And of course, we are going down the blue bit at the bottom, as we see Timo Ackenbach, another Moon Rider, with his details there from Siegen in Germany, Deutschland. And so it depends if you can get a lot of speed up during the blue section. And if you look at the second half, although it goes up, there's only 3 bits with that sort of orangey colouring in the profile. This is in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, another bit of blue. So Peter Brookwavel from Berkshire in the UK. I'm not sure where in Berkshire he's from. It's a long, thin county. I should be cycling in Berkshire myself this Sunday at the eastern end around Slough. So, as I say, don't read too much into the fact that it took 16 minutes to do half, or 15 minutes to do half the course. The second half is the easier and faster half, but we are looking to beat 20 minutes and 40 seconds set by Daniel Cadiz earlier today. Remember, Daniel is in second place, so this is of particular importance to John Beams, who we see on your screen now, who is the current leader. He rides for Pedlers, the PDL that you see there, that's his team. So John Beams is the man who needs to beat the 2040 if he's going to make sure he stays ahead of Daniel Cadiz. Although I say that, his lead over Daniel is over 6 minutes at the moment in the GC. So it would be a bit of a disaster if John Beams got overtaken by Daniel today, or disaster for John. It wouldn't be a disaster for Daniel. He'd have to drop 6 minutes, which is not going to happen, I think. And we see John Beams in the picture there, swaying around, putting lots of effort in. Go on, John. I think you're safely going to stay at top of GC today. 1.7 kilometres to go and 17 minutes done. I think you might even match Daniel here, if not take him over. So keep going, keep going. He's just done another one of the little incline bits, so Cedric sit on his wheel. That'll gain you a little bit of respite. And so Cedric Ricard leading out John Beams. John Beams on 18 minutes, 1.5 kilometres to go. Well, it's going to be close, and I don't think Daniel's going to take the first spot tonight. Probably always a tough call with 6 minutes. John's going to have to put everything into this last 1.3 kilometres, and he's got a little bit of a steep bit coming up. If you look at the bottom right hand corner of your screen, there's a bit of an incline. Casper's heading them there in third, John and Cedric in first and second up there. John's on the front now for Pedlers. Can he overhaul Daniel's 20 minutes? 18 minutes. He's got just over a minute to do the last kilometre, which is probably asking a lot. So I think Daniel is going to be the stage winner, but John is going to retain his first place as they go through the Flamme Rouge, also in red here. Nice little crowd there greeting and clapping them. Wonderful. Obviously a nice day because everybody's underdressed despite the clouds at the top. And Cedric leading out John. 34, 35 kph. You know, they're going up 2%. Now they're going down. They're down now, so it's what, 54. Oh, this is going to be close. 1920 with 700 metres to go. John's going to put everything into this. Go on, John. Let's see what you can do. He's on a downhill bit. 600 metres to go, and he actually 2040 he's got to beat. So he's got about a minute to do the last 500 metres. I think he can do this. He's out of the saddle and he's pushing hard. Looks like he's smiling in the picture, doesn't it? But I bet that's a grimace, really. Go on, 300 metres. I think you're going to beat Daniel. I really do. 300 metres. We can't quite see the finishing line. He's absolutely giving it everything. Just look at him in the Zoom room photo there, as we see Casper's in the right-hand side, who's just behind them. Oh, we can finally see the finishing line. 20:06. He's going to beat Daniel, isn't he? Look at this. He lets Cedric have the win, but he's going to coast across the line, and he takes the hot seat. Look at that. Oh, 27 seconds he beats Daniel by. Terrific stuff. Well done, John. That was a heroic ride. Casper's coming in for third place here. Haskell's Hedenham from Denmark. 200 metres to go. He's at 20:32. He's going to be outside Daniel's time, but nevertheless, a very, very strong ride by Casper's. I would expect nothing less of Casper's, knowing him from various rides. So well done. Gavash coming in now. Not far off Daniel's time, actually, and very, very impressive. Just under 21 minutes. Well done. Valteclays and Ruzinek coming in for Moon Riders now. 400 metres to go. And Valteclays, of course, in fifth place this morning. Ruzinek in fourth. So these two battling out fourth and fifth place at the moment. Jonathan Stevens was in third place. So let's see what time they can pull out here. I mean, they're probably going to stay fourth and fifth. I would guess, based on the fact that, oh no, Valter's going for it. He wants to, now at the moment, he's 5 seconds in the GC, so he goes across at 21:38, and Rusinek wasn't far behind him. So I think, yeah, I think there was about 6 seconds between them before today, and I don't think Rusinek's allowed Valter to get away with that one. Stan of Canada coming in now in 7th place. So it's Casper Hednam, or is it 20:44? Gamache at 20:57. We wait and see what Valter and Rusinek did for Moon Riders. As the Frenchman Suard is coming in next, and he's 90 or just under 100 meters from the end, and he puts a bit of extra effort in to build up some time. 44.9 kph as he comes across the line in 22:24. I'd be very proud of that. Peter Brookwavel, they're coming in from the man from Berkshire. Marshall, another Englishman, rolling in 11th place. Now these are very, very good times, and it'd be interesting to see further back how far people are, because we know how strung up that team was. Oh, Stoppels, from the Netherlands, just pushing ahead of Timo there. Well done, Timo. Another great ride. Stoppels coming over just ahead of Timo, as predicted. I see Mike Lister is probably going to come in next. There's Mike, the man from Devon, coming in, just putting in some extra effort in. 418 watts. Mike's pushing it there. He's a remarkable man. He can actually talk and ride. It's something I can't do. No heart rate monitor on there, as we see from the data. To go on, Mike, let's see what you can do. It's still a very respectable time at 23. It's going to be under 24 minutes by a long stretch, so that's very respectable. Well done, Mike. Sorry, down from Devon. Hepburn coming up next with the Saltar again for Scotland. Ingram, another Brit, and Sweeney, another Brit. Quite a few Brits coming in en masse there, following in Mike Lister. After that, it's the turn of Spaniards, and then we get, there's quite a few French people coming up after that. Cajun is the next Frenchman. Sweeney backs across the line now, 24. When you think about it, you know, there's only 4, what are we back to? Sort of 20th position. We had 59 on the start. It's only 4 minutes separating 20 people on something as steep and hilly as this. This is very respectable. Cadoun from France coming in 18th position. Still in a time I would dream of. I think I would probably be quite content with that on a much flatter surface. So well done. Chapeau, as they say. We're going to have a few Renault and Vigneault, the next 2 Frenchmen coming in. So Renault and Vigneault coming in for France, and that's quite a respectable little quartet of times, including the Spaniard and of course the Dutchman Ketroen, the Dutchman Bankras. Chapeau Renault. And after that, Portugal coming up next, actually ahead of Vigneault. Or is Vigneault? No, Vigneault's not going to let that happen, is it? It's going to. There's a response from Vitorino, the Portuguese. Which one of these two is going to cross the line first? There's going to be a battle, and Vigneault goes for it, and an emphatic little spurt at the end. Another emphatic little spurt. Cavalius. Oh, and Muff there as well. very, very, very. The Italian coming over ahead of the Norwegian now. No, sorry, the Norwegian was Austrian, and it's Vitstuhl from Denmark next. Another Dane coming in after that. After that, there's a bit of a gap back to the German Patzelt, and so there might be a little bit of a lull before he finishes. He's under 200 metres to the finish now. Still at 26 minutes, so we're looking at a 6-minute gap over the first 30 odd places, and probably, I'm just looking here, probably up to about 32. We're going to look certainly under 6 minutes, I think, or around 6 to 7 minutes, which I think is very, very impressive. This isn't an easy ride. even though I think the billing said this is the easiest one of the series so far. So I haven't been able to watch them all, so I can't make that judgment. I'm only going by what I'm told. Italy, another Dane coming in 32nd, ahead of Brit Graham. S. Graham coming up after that. A few Brits, including the man himself, the great James Ogilvy, not far behind, 300 metres. In fact, there's a whole string of Brits actually. We've got Cruella, of course, is Paul Nicholls, as we announced earlier, nicknamed, I'm told, by Derek Bocock, and still within 27 minutes. This is quite impressive. Most of the riders getting in within 7 minutes over a mountain stage like that. As I say, I'm probably repeating the point, but I think it's really, really good. It's next to Saint Martin. We're in French-speaking Switzerland, just south of the River Rhone, which of course winds its way past Annecy and down to the Rhone Valley, and very famous for its wines. And of course, where all the motorways and main roads head for the south to avoid both the mountains in the Alps and the Massif Central. Shackleton next to come in at 38th, 170 metres to go. This is, as I say, we're going to get right back into the 40s now in quite respectable times. So, I say, well done everybody. I should probably check who of these are in the top 26, because it is, remember, quite critical if you're in top 26 that you finish. We've seen Wouter Kleijs, Riznek, Timo Ackenbach, and I'm just trying to think who else has finished here that we've seen. Johan Suard, the Frenchman, has finished, and Chris Shackleton, I think, has finished. Sean Graham has finished, and just trying to pick out a few more. Paul Nicholls we know about, and I think some of the other ones are further back. So as we go further back into the finishers, we shall all be cheering on those in the 26 and making sure they finish, as we see the latest Netherlander, Bangmar, coming in at 29 minutes in a rather striking kit. I quite like that colour, that very sort of African West Indian sort of colour scheme. Most impressive. Here we have Gabe for the USA, 45th, still under half an hour, and still good. I mean, we still need to check who's who needs to finish to make sure they stay. So yeah, Gabe is 20th currently in the rankings, so it's definitely one of the 26. That's another one that's going through, staying in the picture for the grand draw on the £251 prize. So well done, Gabe, and don't let anything go wrong in the last 70 metres, otherwise I'll have to eat my words. So that's another good finish, an important finish for one of the ones in the 26. Argyll is next up, British, and not sure, just double checking, can't see Gill in the 26, so I think that's just a personal ride. G. Thirsk, another Brit, rolling home at the moment, and Giles Thirsk, as we can see there, and I'm not sure that he's in the 26. No, he's not, at least I'm not seeing his name, so that's just for personal pleasure, and well done, Giles. 400 and 500 watts as he it's towards the finish. I don't know, you can keep 500 watts up for another 400 metres, but no, we're down to 200 now. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, well done. 300 metres to go, and 47th place. This is not bad. I mean, we're what? Okay, we've got at the back there, we've got Y. AY, that's Ann Y. So Ann Y has got 3 kilometres to go. Now Ann Y is 26th in the competition, and this is where, don't you just love it? People like Ann just digging in there, getting around, not worrying about where they finish compared to everybody else, because the important thing is you stay in the race by doing all 10 stages. And chapeau, Absolutely. You dig in there, girl. You get home. We're looking forward to seeing you home. We'll sit with you for the 3 kilometres as well. You don't go away. You're just as important as everybody else. Um, so who else have we got? Stephen Elliott is in 52nd position there. He is 1.25 kilometres from home. He's in 25th, just behind, just in front of Anne, by the way. So he's another 20, an important 20, one of the ones of the 26. I'm just trying to see who else in there yet to finish has. He's in the 26. Elliott, I'm not sure. I think those are the main two. So that's Ny and I think those are the main two that need to finish to stay in the 26. So let's cheer for them. Let's cheer for everybody. Embo coming in 50th, 32 minutes, which, as I say, anybody that can do this is a respectable rider, regardless of how long they how long they take to do it. I mean, it's a tough climb. You're doing something like 4% of your distance in climbing, and remember here that a lot of that first climb was in double-digit gradients for a long time. Spaniard here, Alessros, is in that kit again. I don't actually know which team that kit is. I assume it's one that begins with M, but anyway, there it is. On the left, Mark Poe coming in there, again 50th. He's 50th with Alessros in 51st, and as you can see, less than 500 metres from the finish. As Mark comes in, and he's just he's over the half an hour now. That's 33:26. As I say, totally respectable. This is not an easy ride by any stretch of the imagination, even if it is. One Love Century. One Love, I take it, they've taken from the Bob Marley record, which was named after the One Love concert, which was held in Kingston, Jamaica, to try and stop the violence between the two political parties that ran Jamaica in those days. And One Love was to try and get both factions to come to one concert. Bob Marley managed to get all the political leaders on the stage and show unity and try and bring peace to Jamaica, which probably lasted 9 months. But there we are. One Love was the record. It was all about the One Love concert in Kingston, Jamaica. Now a cycling team, as we can see. And you see Elliott in 52nd, and Stephen Elliott from the USA. And putting in, I think he's probably decided that there's no point racing to the end here. Finishing is the most important thing, and that's a sentiment I can thoroughly understand, because that's exactly what I'm like when I know there's no one to race at the end. And sometimes even when there is, I quite happily just pedal in and feel proud of myself for finishing. So well done, Stephen Elliott, coming in 52nd. I think you have to remember that anybody that enters this sort of race with this sort of climbing at those sorts of gradients is going to be a decent rider, so there's nothing to be ashamed of. And of course, we're all rooting for Ny there in 54th place, just ahead of C. Foster, and Anne, of course, is critically just trying to stay in the competition, because if she stays in the ones that have all done 6 races, she goes forward to that draw. What I'm not 100% clear on, and I think you need to go and have a look at RGTDB after the race, just check out, because there could be people in that 26 that haven't raced today, or they haven't. Remember, there's more than one of these races today, so I can't tell you that because somebody's missing from this race that they didn't race today. I don't know. As we focus on Anne, go on, girl. You've got it. You're going to smash this. Go for it. But as I say, go on RGTDB and check out the results. I mean, this is fascinating. We'll be back tomorrow, so you tune in at the same time. I'll be telling you who dropped out and who didn't. Hopefully nobody dropped out, but of course there is an excitement and a bit of gossip to be had. Go on, Anne. Go on, Anne. You're doing well. Fantastic. In the Cliff advertising, Cliff sponsored jersey there, looking very much like a skin suit. So, as I say, look on RGTDB later on, and I'm sure James Ogilvy will put up the results and we'll get excited. I shall be certainly having a look a bit later on. I'm sure James's evening will now be taken up with the shower after the race and then processing the results. You have my admiration and sympathy, James, because tomorrow night I shall be doing the same. I shall be commentating on this, and then straight away after I'll be commentating on my own race, which I can't ride in, which is the West London VR race at 7:30 UK time. It will be massively flatter than this, so quite an easy thing to do. If you've done one of these, you can warm down on it. How's that? And don't forget, if you've got nothing to do on Friday night, Simon Miller, who's racing here today, his race, Friday Frenzy from Southborough. Now the results are coming up, and we can see I haven't read them all the way down because we announced a lot of them as they came in. But here we are on 21st, Renaud Vigneroux, the two Frenchmen, David Vitorino, Mario Scavilis, Silvano Math, even Oystrin from 3Rs, and Jesper Hugh, Danny Meersver, and Marcus Batzelt, Fabian Gobe. Now these all in the 24 to 26 minute bracket, heading down to 31st, Gregor Stumpfeld, Stefan Lee, Sean Graham, Brody, I'm sure that's not his real name, Paul Nichols, Cruella, the great man himself, James Ogilvy, the organiser, Martin Shields, Chris Shackleton, Matt Schillerbeer and Vladis, all coming down to 40th place as we look at Androlia, and she's another girl who's just in there pushing away and doing herself, giving herself a lot of credit, coming in just ahead of Anne Y, of course. 74 metres, battle of our two ladies here, and on your right, and I don't know Androlia's first name, but she's doing a sterling job as she heads for the Flamme Rouge, and she's probably thinking not too far to go now. It's Laetitia Androlia, and Laetitia is probably now very thankful that she's only got 900 metres to go, and the gradient is still plus, of course, though. So it's, you know, you can't coast in on that last little section. And why just going through the Flamme Rouge there, and go on, ladies. It's still a bit uphill, but the end is in sight. You can get off the bike and get your breath back. Oh, and Laetitia is looking to speed up and she's still on 5%. She's pushing out. It's pretty. Oh, sorry, it's minus 5%. There's a downhill bit. I thought she just sped up a bit there. No, she's just on the downhill bit. Flattens out for the last 500 meters. Of course, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the terrain goes green again as we see the profile of the course. So let's see head down, pushing away 36 kilometers per hour, and 400 meters to go, at quite a respectable speed. And actually, I think everybody's going to get home. And I was asked if I would commentate on this. I was given a rough time frame, and I think I'm going to get out of this earlier than was predicted. So we look at the first 30 results there, and pick your name out, and I'm not going to read through everyone, but let's have a look at the top. Cedric Ricard and John Beams, of course, coming in. I think John Beams may have let Cedric have the race, but it was enough to keep him ahead of Daniel Cadiz in the GC, beating Daniel by 27 seconds today and extending his lead, which is now well over 6 minutes. Casper Hederdam, he had that fantastic break at the beginning, didn't quite come off, but a very, very impressive third place, and only just over 30 seconds behind the front two. Gavash coming in next, 13 seconds behind, and the evergreen Wouter Claes, who's on a rich vein of form this season, 21:38. Jojo Risnek, Canadian, Olaf Stanner after that, and Johan Sihar, the Frenchman again, Jonathan Stevens, and Peter Wavel, the man from Berkshire, Lee Marshall, the August Stoppels. These are all on 22-minute bracket, around to Timo Akampat, just after Wilder Stoppels. The evergreen Mike Lister, and coming in at 20, he's leading the 23 pack. Mike Lister, the man in front of the 23 pack, ahead of Ian Hepburn, Paul Ingram, John Sweeney, Vincent Kedron, Chris Bancross, and Rob Matty making up the top 20, the last 4 of course in the 24-minute bracket. Antoine Renaud, another Frenchman, just rounding that off. He was just ahead of his fellow countryman Joël Vigneault. David Vitorino coming in after that, Mario Savelas, Tivano Math, and I'll leave you to read through the rest of them. You don't need me to read out all these names. James Ogilvie picking a bunch towards the bottom of that 40 in 36th place. Remember, he has to do all the organising as well, so probably shaves a minute off his race, I reckon. All that effort that you have to put in organising these things, I can vouch for that as a fellow organiser, and hopefully see you all tomorrow, both Jim, James, and everybody else on this race, and some of you on the second race. We'll be doing a double bill tomorrow night on ZMS. We'll be doing this stage tomorrow, Saint Martin to Thion. Again, we're going down a valley. We're looking valley, then up the side of a valley, the Hermance, and then zigzag. And this is a proper mountain finish. Look at that, zigzag. This is it's probably not 21 hairpins, but you know, it's one of those out there style zigzags up this mountainside. That is going to be grueling. So you can see it comes along the valley, around the side of the other mountain, before hitting the one that we finish off. That is going to be absolutely grueling, and it's 21 kilometers, 1,297 meters of climbing. Ooh, yes, I bet that'll be fun. Don't forget, you can cool down afterwards, everybody, on a nice 13-kilometer ride round a crit race in the city centre of Ghent. Both of those races covered back to back tomorrow here on ZMS with me commentating. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I think this has been fantastic tonight, and I just in awe at some of the riders from front to finish as well. It's absolutely very commendable riding, and what a great tour this has been. Tour de Alps. Remember, there's 3 stages to go. Stage 8 tomorrow, 9 and 10 Thursday and Friday evening. And the other thing Friday evening after that is, of course, Simon Miller's Friday Frenzy with the Southborough District Wheelers. It's all on RGT, and it is absolutely fantastic. My favourite racing platform, and what a nice community too. Nice to see you all here this evening. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening.